Hey guys, this is Tim. I am on a frontage road off I-20, about 20 miles from Big Spring, Texas. The van died, wouldn't restart. Typically it would shut off every so often and then it would restart after a while. But now it just wouldn't restart at all. So I've been here for quite a few hours. Nobody's pulled over, nobody's come along. Well, actually one person drove along this frontage road. He didn't stop, but you can see how close I am to the highway, but nobody stopped. I haven't seen any, state patrol or highway patrol, or and I think I just need a jump start right now. I think I've been trying to get it running, and in the process ran the battery down. So I'm going to, I've been here a while and I don't think anybody's going to come by or stop. So I'm going to take the scooter off the back of the van and I'm going to ride it into Big Spring, find a part, and see if I can get one of those, something to jump the vehicle with. I've got cables, but I mean like a battery pack or something, because I don't, it could be a while before somebody actually stops to help me. It's kind of really setting me back as far as time. I'm getting to Phoenix, so if I get this running, then it's going to be driving all night pretty much, and then all day tomorrow to get there. But right now, short of calling or getting somebody from Dallas to come help me, I'm going to try to see if I can fix it myself. I've been here quite a few hours, did some looking around on the internet as far as the problems, why it would cut out every so often and then restart a little later. And it seems to be the fuel relay switch overheats and shuts it off. So I'm gonna, hopefully that'll solve the problem if I get that part. So time to get the scooter off, lock everything up. The dogs will be inside. They've got plenty of food and water, and it's pretty cold, so they don't have to worry about them getting hot inside there. And I'll let you know how things go when if I get it fixed or not. Good morning. Well, it's day 2 of the ordeal, the engine problems. I'm still on the, let's see if you can see it out here, frontage road from I-20. Had a really cold night, me and the dogs, but we survived. So frontage road I-20, about 20 miles to Big Spring and about 40 miles to Sweetwater. I rode the scooter, the Honda ST90 that I've got on the back, 20 miles into Big Spring to an AutoZone, picked up a part that I thought might be the problem. They didn't have the exact part, but it was similar in size and connections, and so I grabbed that to see if it would work. Rode back 20 miles, very cold, but made it. And no, it didn't start, it didn't work. So then seems I'm having some technical issues with this camera. I don't know if it's because of the cold weather, but anyway, last night my brother drove from Dallas, and we tried a few things, got the battery charged back up, and couldn't get it running. It was one thing, it was really cold, and also it was just dark. Couldn't really see a whole lot. So he had to go back to Dallas for work. I appreciate him coming out 500 miles, I guess over 500 miles, driving here and back. He gave me some ideas, gave me a little extra cash, and so I'm gonna tinker around on it a little bit today and see if I can find out, do some more testing. There's a friend in Dallas who's a mechanic who's gonna help me out, over the phone. And eventually, if I can't get it running, I'm gonna have to have it towed into Big Spring to a shop and have it worked on there. Unfortunately, all the shops are closed Saturday and Sundays, the garages, and so I have to wait a couple days anyway, so that gives me time to kind of see if I can get it running. I'm on my own. The bad thing is that I'm gonna miss my niece's wedding. It's my first niece or nephew to get married, and I really wanted to make it to her wedding. I thought the van would make it from Dallas to Phoenix. It's done it before, but something is just, I think it's electrical, is just decided it's gonna shut off, not gonna work. But I'm really sorry that I'm gonna miss Michaela's wedding. Hopefully I'll see her and her husband soon. I haven't met him yet, but that's the thing that bothers me the most, is that I'm going to miss her wedding, and see family as well, but mostly missing her wedding. So today I'm going to take the doghouse, that cover, off again and start checking, just going through all the wires, and it's kind of complicated by my finger. I don't know if you can see it, but got a pretty good cut right there on this finger. A couple days ago I was cutting a bagel with a knife and cut right into the finger. It bled pretty bad, and I've had it wrapped up. I just unwrapped it today and letting it air out, and I'm going to clean it up, wrap it back up, and then get busy working on the van. Dogs have been great. They had their walk. Now they're just laying around in the sun. Twinkie's over looking out the window. So this is kind of one of those things with living in a van. Van life is, you've got to expect, you've got to deal with the unexpected. Major mechanical problems, things that you don't know are going to happen, could happen and leave you stranded out, miles and miles from the nearest town. And that's what you got to deal with. You just got to persevere, you got to be strong, and say, hey, it could be worse, So anyway, I'll keep you guys up to date on what's gonna happen. Sorry, it's cold here. My feet are still pretty cold. I'm gonna make some coffee and say a prayer, and then see if I can get this thing running. And unfortunately, I'll have to head back to Dallas and miss the wedding tomorrow. But just got to keep going, keep moving ahead, and I'll keep you all updated. Well, it is day 3 of sitting alongside the highway on a frontage road, about 40 miles from Sweetwater, 20 miles from Big Spring, Texas. Haven't been able to fix the van, won't start, and today I'll be calling a towing company and having it towed to a garage, likely in Big Spring since it's closer and will cost less to tow. But I kind of put off, I wanted to see if I could try doing everything I could to fix it, to get it running, before having to call the towing company and take it to a garage. Plus, the garages are closed yesterday and today, so sitting here alongside the highway, not too bad. I'm not right next to it, so it's not as loud, but and I don't have the traffic coming, right next to me. There's a good distance between us on this frontage road. So sitting here versus having it towed into town yesterday or Friday and sitting at a garage waiting for them to open up on Monday, I'd rather try to fix it first while I've got the time. But this is just kind of one of those things, where you don't always know what's going to happen mechanically, especially in an older vehicle. So, you kind of have to go with the flow. I'm supposed to be in Arizona right now. My niece is getting married this afternoon. Unfortunately, I'm not going to make it. Sorry, Michaela, but and I really wanted to be there. I was on the way, and this happened, and it just, you don't know when things like this will happen with the vehicle. I've put a lot of miles on it, driven it up to Utah and from Arizona out here to Texas, and I guess it was time. But you always got to be prepared. It was pretty chilly last night. I got the windows, I can insulate them, and the ceiling's insulated pretty well. But still out here, even in Texas, it gets pretty chilly at night, down in the 30s. So one thing that I found is, you got to be prepared for that kind of weather, even if you're in the desert and don't think it will get cold. It does get cold at night in the desert, whether it's here in Texas or out in Arizona or Utah. So I don't have a heater other than the one I use when I'm using shore power. So you got to have a good sleeping bag, blankets. These little dogs, they keep you warm too. Even the stove, a propane stove is great for just breaking that cold and heating up the area. And of course, make sure you got lots of coffee and food and water, when you're traveling, just for situations like this. So this is where I'm at. I'm gonna call the towing company, get them to pick me up. 20 miles from Big Spring that way, and about 40 miles to Sweetwater. I'd rather be towed to Sweetwater because it's a larger town, more options for repairs, but it's 40 miles, extra as far as towing, and the towing company is in Big Spring, so that would, they're coming out 20 miles here to where I am, and then if I wanted to go to Sweetwater, that's another 40 miles, so that's 60 miles, versus towing it back to Big Spring, where they're located out of, which I'm sure will be less than the extra, but I'll check when I call them. And I've been doing some research as far as shops to get it fixed, looking at reviews and looking at even just the street views and the photos of the shops to see where they're located and what they look like, if it's looks like a successful and clean shop versus just a little rundown garage or something that isn't, so that's kind of some of the things I always look for, reviews and photos and everything like that. So again, this is started, well, actually it's getting close to noon, so midway through the third day. One person did come by. He asked if I needed any help, if I wanted to ride into town, get food, things like that. I think he's a rancher out here somewhere. So I told him I was okay. I've got food and water. I've already ridden into Big Spring once on the little motorcycle. So I'm, he said he'd come back by sometime today and check and see how I'm doing, if I'm still here. So anyway, that's the update, and I'll get back to you when I know more and when I get this fixed and back on the road. Unfortunately, since I missed the wedding today, I'll probably just turn around and head back to Dallas now instead of going out to Arizona. Which again, that's kind of bumming me out because I wanted to see family out there, take care of some business in Phoenix, things like that. But I'll have to do some more work on this van to make sure it's roadworthy for a long trip like that. And I'll talk to you guys later. Twinkie's just taking it all in, enjoying the sun. It was cold last night, right, Cooper? He's like, yeah, I'll just sit here in the sun too. Good dogs. Well, day 4. The ordeal, the broken down van ordeal is over. This morning, the mechanic whose yard I was parked in overnight, he showed up. I told him what happened, as far as the symptoms or the problems with the van. What was no fuel coming out through the injectors and no spark. And he said, right away he knew. He said, it's your ignition module inside the distributor. So he said, hey, he ordered the part, and a couple hours later he came back with the part. It didn't fit. It was the wrong part. When he finally looked at the distributor, he said, oh, this is a different part. But he happened to have the part that was needed. I guess this is an older injection system and distributor and all that. He happened to have one in his shop, and he went and got it, put it in, fired right up. And so he said this one that he put in should last for quite a while. It's a good one. And it runs great now, so that was the problem. But it was a good turn of events that I actually happened to go to that shop. I had planned on going to another one that I had seen on, when I did a Google. It had good reviews. The photos showed this really nice building, looked like they were doing really well. But the tow truck driver, suggested, hey, the mechanic that works on our trucks, he's a great guy. He doesn't have a really nice shop, doesn't have a sign out or anything. He just kind of works from word of mouth. But he's a former Harley Davidson mechanic and a lot of experience. And he'll work on it right away in the morning, whereas the other shop you might have to wait. He'll give you a really good deal. And so I said, okay, I'll take your word at it, take your recommendation, which turned out to be great. So the guy, when he fixed it, started it up, I asked him, well, how much? And he said $30, which shocked me. I thought, there's a little bit of time here involved. The part, it's gonna be. I thought he'd be, closer to $100 or more, but $30. So I actually gave him $40. I said, hey, you let me stay overnight here. You worked on this right away, got it back running. So I gave him a little extra, even though he didn't really want to take it. But that was just a good turn of events. I was fortunate that worked out that way. So got back on the road, just passed through Sweetwater where I stopped to get a few things. Stopped here at a rest area, and I think the next big major town is Abilene, and then from there on to Dallas. Probably get there tonight. So it's kind of been, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today's Monday, a 4-day little trial, I guess. It's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because I didn't make it to the wedding, as I mentioned before. That's the only downside is that I didn't go to my niece's wedding. Been seeing some photos that's being posted online, and it looks like it was really a nice wedding. So anyway, I guess the lesson is you got to always be prepared. flexible, and next time I plan a trip like this, I'll make sure the vehicle is really in tip-top shape. A lot of little things I want to work on. I was fortunate to have the motorcycle in the back, the Honda ST90. Even though it's everywhere I go, everybody wants to stop me and ask about it because it's vintage, 1975, and it's in a really excellent condition. It was rebuilt. So a lot of people, oh, that brings back memories, you know, and they want to ask about it, where I got it, you know, how can I find one, or they'll ask about the van, which is also, you know, unusual. But I'm gonna get back on the road. It's been a good experience overall. I mean, it could have cost a lot more, but it didn't, so I'm fortunate, and I'm just you know, learning that you got to stay positive no matter what. I was out in the middle of kind of nowhere, miles from any town, and it looked bleak, and you got to stay positive, rely on family and friends for advice and help, and just, you know, be prepared also. Have a little extra food and water if you're traveling like I am. And time to get going. This rest area is kind of loud and busy. So I'm going to get back on the road. Talk to you all later.